Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm super excited you're here today because today is the day we begin a brand new season of fall decorating and DIYs here at Ramon at Home. This is going to be a compilation of some of the projects that we've done to kick off our fall decorating season, and I cannot wait to share them all with you. Before we get started, I want to take a second to thank our new members this week, Lucia Geese, Patricia Cook, and Richie Ye. Yay! Thank you guys so much for joining. Your contribution really helps this channel produce better videos. And if you want to become a member, all you have to do is click the join button on the main page or somewhere below this video, and you also will get the special perks for members only. With all of that said, I want to ask you the question of today, and that's going to be, what is your favorite fall decorating DIY that you've ever done? All right, you guys, well, if you are interested in fall decorations for 2022, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because we're just getting started with the fall season 2022 and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's also going to be a playlist in the description box for you to keep entertained and get ideas. All right, number one project today is going to be a beautiful fall lantern. Let's watch. All right, everyone, so for our first fall DIY, what we're going to do is we're going to decorate this little lantern and we're going to make it look really fabulous. For that, what we're going to need is some leftover fall ribbon. This came from the dollar store a few years ago, and you guys know that I like to recycle my ribbon. Just roll it like this and put it away at the end of the season. I'm going to use my scissors, one of these pipe cleaners, a zip tie, an LED candle with a remote, of course this cute little lantern, and a selection of foliages, berries, and a pumpkin. This is going to be super simple, so I'm actually just gonna push everything aside and I'm going to get started. The very first thing I want to do is create a cute little swag, and for that what we're going to do is we're going to get our longest piece, like this little bushel of wheat. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna separate it in two and I'm gonna push some of them up to kind of get a core. So right here in the middle where we separate is going to be our core, where everything's going to radiate from, all right? So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of these leftover pieces and I'm going to stagger them, one facing up. Remember, what goes up must come down. So you want to make sure that you never let go of your core right here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of these berry foliages. This actually was a pick that I took apart from Hobby Lobby, because sometimes, you know, you pay for your items, might as well just go ahead and use them. Now, what I want to mention right here is that when you put one up like that, you need to come to the opposite side to stagger them. So that way it creates more texture when you finish your swag. Then I'm gonna grab a few of these berries and I'm gonna just stagger them up and down, creating this radiating motion from all over my swag. Then what you need to do is you need to grab your pipe cleaner and your zip tie, and we're gonna zip tie all of this together real quick. As tight as you can without letting go of your core. That way, well, it doesn't come falling apart. Okay, so then I'm gonna cut the excess. I'm gonna put that to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna create a cute little bow. And I just wanted a small bow because it is a small lantern. So I'm gonna leave just a small tail, probably about 4 inches. And I'm gonna do a cute little bow, making sure that it's proportionate to my lantern. And if you guys haven't, I'm sure by now everybody knows how to make a cute little bow. It's super easy. This is gonna be a simple bow that doesn't have to overpower our lantern. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your pipe cleaner, push through, and give it a twist like this, and then we'll fluff. You don't want a bigger bow than this because you don't want to overpower the top of your lantern with all of your goodies. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring this swag and I'm gonna grab this pumpkin that's going to be our focal point. I'm gonna join it right here. Then I'm going to add the bow to it, and really tightly I'm going to secure all of this together by spinning it around like this. And then I'm gonna put this to the side. We'll fluff in a second. Now what I want to do is I'm going to open my cute little lantern. I'm gonna insert this little candle that is battery operated. And I'm going to turn it on like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my swag on top of my lantern. This would be really cute for a side table. This could be really cute for an entryway table. I've done a chandelier with multiple of these. If you guys haven't seen that, I'm going to link it down below. It was a Christmas chandelier that it was just so cute with multiple lanterns decorated for Christmas. And so basically you just wanna attach this to the back very tightly. And once you have that done, you want to fluff your bow. Make sure that you see some of that bow and that pumpkin. I'm going to spin it around to me so I can see what I'm doing. Perfect. And at this point, what you want to do is also you want to give it a little curvature like that. And just like that, you have a cute little lantern. If you know me, you know that I love decorating a little lantern for fall, and that was super fun. I hope you learned a few tricks. And right now we're gonna keep it with a small and on a budget theme for fall. So I'm gonna show you a beautiful small fall wreath that is super easy to make and that is perfect for a small door, apartment size, or any door for this fall season 2022. Let's watch. All right, everyone, so for this wreath, what we're going to need is one of these wreath forms from the dollar store. I'm gonna use a variety of fall flowers and we're gonna do an ombre effect on this wreath. So I chose some of these little daisy mums. I also chose some of these beautiful sunflowers. I chose some chrysanthemums and some of these mums with burlap in them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 types of flowers, actually 5 because I have also this hydrangea. And I'm gonna use my wire cutters. I'm also going to use a little bow and I'm gonna show you how to do a trick with extra ribbon for this particular wreath. This is gonna be so much fun. So to create an ombre effect, what you need to do is you're going to go ahead and start with your darkest color on the bottom, and that's going to be this daisy mum, and I'm going to cut because you wanna make sure that you wanna penetrate all the way through the foam. So what you want to do is you want to stagger some of these flowers on the same color. You want to start all the same color first, making sure that you penetrate that foam and you cover some of this perimeter. So when your stem is too long, just go ahead and give it a clip, because remember, we're going to penetrate that foam and make sure that we cover most of it, okay? So we're going to do last 5. I'm going to do this sunflower next. And that's gonna be 6. And then I'm gonna add this hydrangea next. And just make sure that you push that really far in. So then what you wanna do next to make that ombre effect, you're gonna start with the next color in the color wheel, which will be on the same family but a shade lighter. And we're gonna just start adding some flowers. I'm gonna add 3 to this side. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. So I'm going to immediately move to this side, and you want to make sure that you go as far down because you want to cover all of this foam. You don't want to see any of this foam. So that's 3 on each side. I'm going to do 1 more, 5, 6. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the next one, lighter one. It's going to be this chrysanthemum with the burlap, and you want to start on the bottom. So I'm going to do, oops, this came out. When you have this problem where the flowers come out, just go ahead and put a little dab of glue and that should fix the problem. So I'm gonna add 2, then I'm gonna add 1 to the inside of it, and I'm gonna add 3. So far so good. Then I'm gonna go over to the other side. I'm gonna cut a little bit. So I'm gonna do 1. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this video and this series, and I cannot wait to come up with brand new more ideas for the fall every Sunday here at Ramon at Home, leading into the holiday season, which it's what we love, right? Okay, so now that you have a strip with that flower, what you need to do is you need to graduate 1 with the same one right here. You want to make sure that that color kind of blends. It's kind of like when you're doing your makeup and you're blending your makeup, that's what you want to do. Just push it in. So that way there's a little bit of that color kind of blending in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the lighter flower, which is this chrysanthemum. We're going to add right here. 1, 2, 2, and 3. And when you don't have a stem, just go ahead and grab one of the ones that you poked out and then add it right there. So that's 3. Then I'm gonna move over to this side. I'm gonna add 1. Now this one needs to be cut. Actually, I'm gonna take this flower out. I'm gonna put this stem because that one had glue since it's from a past project. And I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna do 1, 2. I'm gonna grab a third one, and I'm going to do a fourth one right here, like this. And we wanna leave this open because that's where our bow is going to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of this. And I wanna show you with this bow right here. This bow is already made, but I want longer tail, so it's a little bit more lashes. So what you need to do is just grab your tails, fold them in half, grab it right here, and we're gonna give it a fresh dovetail. So you dovetail both of your ends at the same time. Then you make sure you fold it in half. You're going to pinch or gather, and then we're going to tie all of this together right here, making sure that those tails always go down like that. And we're going to tie it really securely. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the wreath back in. I'm going to attach my bow over to my wreath on the back. We're gonna fluff in a second, like this. Fluff your wreath. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and put one of these tails under the wreath so it just shows. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch right here. I'm going to open my flowers right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these flowers and I'm going to poke it through the fabric to hold that tail. Wasn't that wreath super simple and cute? I am telling you, if I can do it, so can you. Just give it a try, you'll surprise yourself. All right, well now I wanna take a really quick second to invite you to come and join me on my Instagram for daily Insta stories, behind the scenes, and all of the things you don't get to see here on my YouTube channel. The link to my social media is going to be in the description box below. Right now, I'm gonna share with you how to create a beautiful urn for fall that can be for outdoors or inside the house, and I really think you're gonna like it. Let's watch. All right, everyone, so for this next fall DIY project, I want to show you how I put together the urn that is right here by the Ramon at Home logo. So many of you guys have asked me to show you how this was done, and I'm gonna take the time right now to show you how easy it really is to create a very elegant, elaborate, and dramatic arrangement for your house. This also would be so cool for the entryway table. This will be cool for a mantle and also for outside. Can you imagine having two of these urns outside by your front door? I think it'd be so beautiful. But it's gonna be super easy, so I'm gonna start real quick. I have this constructed, so the very first thing I wanna do, I'm gonna put this down. And sorry if I disappear from the camera, but I'm just gonna do it in real time so you guys can see how it actually is done. No editing done. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with some of these fallen branches that I have, and as you guys can see, it's just a whole bunch of them. There is a hole on the urn right here, and I want to plug that hole as much as I can. And this right here is going to basically serve as a frog for all of our branches. So make sure that you split them apart. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the tallest branches first, and I'm going to add them. And I'm going to try and go into that hole through the branches, so that way they lock in place. So I'm going to go one down. Then I want to bring one up, so I'm going to go opposite ways. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. It doesn't matter what project you are working on. So I'm going to try and go through this hole right here. I'm going to give it a little curvature like this. And it gets tighter in there, but these are the longest branches there are. So it's very important they go all the way down, as you guys can see right here. Then you give it a curvature. Then this one right here, I want it to spill forward this way. So I'm gonna give it a curvature and I'm gonna bring it forward, and this will be the last one that goes through the hole like that. And you bend them down like this. Like this. So now what I have, let me remember what was next. So what I have is this beautiful eucalyptus, and this also is a longer form, and I only have two of them. So I wanna make sure that one goes back to this side like that, and then another one spills forward. I'm gonna push this branch down like this. And remember, you have to crisscross them and make sure that they go on the hole, or just like that. And as you guys can see, it's giving us all of the height and the width that we need for this arrangement. You know what, I'm gonna push this one right here. Perfect, love that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some other branches that I have, and I'm gonna add them just right in the middle to give it the height that I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that right here. As you guys can see, it gives us some height in the middle, and that also is gonna help us with the foliages. Like that. Then I have this faux, I think it's a curly willow, but it's faux, and I'm gonna just add it right here in the middle just to give us support with all of the branches. Making sure that you have, if you had a mirror right here or a picture right here, you wanna make sure that you frame onto it instead of covering it. So I'm gonna make sure that I go, with this one I do wanna go in the middle. So I'm gonna find that hole, and there you go. See how now I have all of my width and have some spilling forward. So now this is the fun part where I bring all of the foliages. So sorry if I do disappear, but I have to gather all of my foliages. All right, so this one right here, because it's short, I'm gonna put it right here, like that. And I want to make sure that I have some facing up. So I'm gonna add one right here, like that. And because I have some spilling forward this way, I want to make sure that I have some spilling forward the other side, just like that. And now I'm gonna go over to this side, and I'm gonna start spilling forward over to this side, like this. And I have a last one right here, so I'm going to go ahead and add it towards the back. Even though it is flat on the wall, you wanna make sure that you have some balance on your bouquet. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and you have to make sure that you cover all of your spaces. All right, so then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this big pumpkin right here. As you guys can see, there was a hole for it. And then I have another pumpkin that I'm gonna put right here towards the back. You see just a little peekaboo of it, and then I have a longer form of it, and I'm gonna go ahead and add it right here. What that does also, it just creates the center where our bird is going to go, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab, actually, you know what? First of all, I have a little bird's nest that I had added in there. So I'm gonna add this bird's nest right here on the corner. So she's basically protecting her little eggs. And then I have some hydrangea that I put on picks. And what I do with this is I just ground that nest side on side like that. And so it looks like it's sitting on the hydrangea, but it really is not. So then I'm gonna add this little bit of bittersweet. I'm gonna add right here. And I have another one over on this side, and I'm gonna add right here. So basically this is the area of his nest. So now what I'm going to do is grab my bird, and I'm gonna position it right here, like that. And just like that, you have a beautiful fall display that can be used on a mantle, an entryway table, or outside by your door. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. The urn was fabulous, but for our next fall DIY, I'm gonna share with you how to create a beautiful fall centerpiece step by step to match the little wreath. It is one of my favorite DIYs that I've ever done. Let me show you. Well, so many of you like that wreath, and so I figured that we would make a matching centerpiece. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my two foams. I'm gonna measure this one right here, and I'm gonna start with this one over on this side. And what you need to do is you need to go ahead and mark the second one so that they are tied on the container. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab my florist knife. Let me remove this container real quick. And I'm just gonna make a cut all the way down to that. And then this foam, I need to make sure that that is the one that's gonna go down. So that is gonna be pretty snug, but it's gonna work. So then with this one right here, what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it in the middle. I'll make sure you guys can see. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the bottom. because I want these foams to be raised up. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back to back like this. Then I'm gonna push down. So as you guys can see, it's pretty snug and it's just about 1/4 of an inch from the line of the container right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is very simple. So I'm just gonna start inserting flowers, and you start right here. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and then we're gonna cap one right here on the bottom, and it's gonna start filling in our container with flowers. And we're gonna use as many of this particular color as we have, because we want it to be really packed and tight. So that's 2, like that. And for this particular centerpiece, I'm not gonna use any foliage, because when you do an ombre effect, you don't want any foliage to disrupt the coloration of your centerpiece. So from the very light one, we're gonna gradually move towards a more darker on the same shade. It has to be on the same shade. You have to use about 2 types of flowers per shade. So that way you have a variety of colors, you're gonna have a texture. And as you guys can see, this is super simple. Then we're gonna move to the lighter orange one, which is this mom right here. And you need to make sure that they're pretty packed, so that way they are giving you texture, movement. So as you guys can see, I'm putting them really, really packed. That's 6. I'm gonna stop at 6 of this one. Then I'm gonna move to the darker orange one, and I'm gonna lift the petals of this particular flower. And then I'm going to finish right here. I'm gonna introduce some of this hydrangea. And I have a few more of the hydrangea right here. And then I'm going to cap with some of this sunflower. And as you guys can see, I ran out of this flower, so I have some of this sunflower right here, so I'm gonna poke it out and I'm gonna bring it over to this side, but I'm gonna go ahead and swap it for one of these orange ones, so it's still pretty tight. And I feel like this one right here also needs to be moved over to this corner. So that is the perfect way to create that ombre effect for this beautiful centerpiece. I have one last one, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add it right here. Why not? Just go ahead and open your flowers and push as far down. And look how fabulous this centerpiece turned out. With just about a few dollars of flowers, a beautiful container, you can have a long and low centerpiece to match your wreath. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous, but I cannot wait to read your comments. The centerpiece turned out absolutely gorgeous, and I really hope you guys liked it as much as I did. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share this video with your friends so they know about our fall decorating and DIYs for 2022. Right now, I'm gonna share with you how to create a beautiful topiary with pumpkins. I really think you're gonna love it as well. Let's watch. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce some foam into our container. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my knife and I'm gonna start cutting into the shape of this urn. And then we're gonna go ahead and push as far down as we can, because we need to make sure that that pumpkin is gonna stay in place. Once we have our foam introduced into our container, what we're going to do is we're gonna put this stake right in the middle, and I'm just gonna leave it there for now, okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some foliages, and I'm going to go ahead and cut them short. And I want to start with some of this beautiful maple. And if you've been following the channel, you know what happens on the left happens on the right. So just go ahead and introduce some of this foliage, and I'm probably going to use about 3 or 4. And a secret is to give them a little spin like this so they are fuller. I'm going to do 3, and I'm going to use a 4th one over here on this side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of this other full foliage, and I'm going to start filling in the gaps where I don't have any foliage. And if you don't have a lazy Susan, well, let me tell you, you should invest in one, because look how easy it is to balance your arrangements when it comes down to spinning around. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of these marigolds. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut some of them. You guys know that I like to cut them all at once, but I think I'm only gonna use a few of them. So I'm gonna leave some of these on the stem. and put them to the side in case I need them again. But what I need is some of these really pretty flowers to fill in some of this gap as well. And what I like about these bundles, because it has a variety of 2 flowers, 2 colors, and it comes with this really pretty greenery that also helps to fill in our gaps. So we have 4. So now I'm gonna get my pumpkins ready and I'll be right back. All right, so the first thing I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and take this little stem from the pumpkin off from this one. And as you guys can see, they're made out of styrofoam. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push my skewer or my stake through the pumpkin very easily. And you have to be a little patient because you have to pull through that, but look how cute that is. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this foam and I wanna cut a little square, but I want it to be rather thick because we're gonna introduce some of those foliages. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of my glue and just adding some right here in the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna introduce this foam and glue it right there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the next pumpkin and I'm going to actually kind of cut. I wanna make sure that I don't poke all the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut some of these skewer right about here. And then I'm going to introduce my second pumpkin into my topiary, but making sure that, you know, it's kind of a wiggle because they are, there you go, like that. And so now we have a topiary, and what we need to do is just fill in, and I'm gonna use some of these flowers. So I'm gonna put them really close to my topiary because I don't want it to protrude as much as the foliage is right here in the bottom, because this is just an accent. So if you need to cut, just go ahead and cut, but make sure that you cover the whole perimeter with this marigold. So I'm gonna cut the rest. I'm gonna cut them short. Might as well. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this fall season. I cannot wait to read your comments. I wanna know which of all of these projects has been your favorite from the fall season, and if you are as excited as I am for what's next. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that this is just leading into a holiday season that I cannot wait for you guys to come back and witness. All right, so I have just a few more and I'm making sure that I put them pretty packed, and see how important it is to have that foam in there. You can really see where you need a flower, just go ahead and poke, because you have that foam in there. It just makes it so easy. And the fact that these flowers have a little bit of foliage, then it really helps to fill in between the pumpkins. And I also love this particular DIY. All right, you guys, I told you that topiary was super simple to make with some fall pumpkins, fall foliages, and fall flowers. You can create this. How beautiful would this be on a mantle or lined up on a tablescape? I cannot wait to show you some of the other ideas, but right now I'm gonna share with you how to create a beautiful pumpkin with a whole bunch of fall foliages and flowers that is going to be perfect for a mantle, for an entryway table, or just a side table. I really think you're going to learn a few tricks. I cannot wait for you to see. Let's watch. All right, everyone, so to get this gorgeous centerpiece started, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut some of this fall fern foliage. And if you've been following the channel, then you know that I like to cut all of my foliages and flowers all at the same time and use them that way as well, because it is faster and you get a more balanced look when you're doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this guy right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of these guys, and I'm just gonna start inserting this into my glue and then into the foam. And so basically I'm gonna do the same steps that I always tell you guys about. You know, if you go to your right, you need to go to your left, and vice versa. So I'm gonna start on my right, I'm gonna dip into my glue, and then I'm gonna go right here to my left, directly to the left. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing, like this. Now this is going to be a centerpiece And I'm super excited because making centerpieces, it's my favorite thing here on the channel. I've done so many of them, and I'm gonna put a playlist right now on the screen so you guys can check out all of the full centerpieces that we've done here at Ramon at Home. So if you are looking for a centerpiece idea, then you'll be able to find it. All right, so now that I've done my 4 corners, I'm gonna go ahead and start by doing up on the top what I call the crown. And if you guys don't know what I'm using, this is a steel pick machine. This is a florist or a crafter item that I really recommend. If you make this to sell, then I really do recommend you get yourself one because they really do come in handy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one right here. Just pull, push down. I am having so much fun with this fall season, and if you guys want to see more ideas, be sure to leave me the hashtag fall so that I know that you are enjoying this series and I can get to working. There's going to be so many great ideas, and I'm gonna leave a full description on the comment section below about where I found these items. Some of them came from Shinoda, some of them came from Hobby Lobby, some of them came from Walmart. So, all right, so far so good. It's looking really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert this one right here. Perfect, so that's what it looks like right now. It's looking really good. But then to contrast, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some green foliages. That is to kind of highlight all of these fall foliages, you have to use a green. Now think of when you're going, when I lived in the Midwest, I used to go out running on this beautiful trail, and my favorite thing was to see when fall came, to see the greenery change. You know, you get the fall colors, and then also you get your greenery because you have all these evergreens. At least in Kansas, we had all these evergreens, and so they stay green this whole time, and then you get all of your fall colors. So I like to use some green when I'm making fall centerpieces and sash. All right, let me add one more. So it just gives it a different feel, and I just love it. I love it. All right, so far so good. I have 2 left of this guy. All right, you guys, so far I've added my fall fern and then my greenery, and that is an olive. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of this fern. I also love this fern because it gives it a lot of wispy and height. As you guys are about to see, just make sure you dip that into your glue so it stays. And I'm gonna go ahead. Now somebody asked me if you are willing to recycle your flowers, there's no need for you to dip into the glue. I'm making this like this because I'm gonna put them on my Etsy shop, so they have to be done properly. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one more right here. And I cannot wait to read your guys' comments about these projects, so be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what do you think about this project. All right, so I'm gonna add one more down here, like this, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it down like that. That's what I like about these guys, because you can really play with them. All right, I'm gonna cut one more to go all the way around so it's very even. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it and then dip a little bit into the glue. I'm gonna go ahead and insert that and just swirl it down like that. Look how wispy it is. That is one thing about good quality greeneries. They really do look realistic, and they also just create so much texture. Let's see, where do I need one? I think I need one right here. Perfect. Oh, how gorgeous is that? So far, so good. All right, so then what I want to add is I'm gonna add some of this Himalayan grass, and you guys know I am crazy over Himalayan grass. It is one of my favorite things to design with, whether it is fresh or silk, because look how much texture you get from your Himalayan grass. It is so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna add one right here to the crown. And then I'm gonna swirl around like that. And on this occasion, what I wanna do is I wanna do a triangle. So I have one down here, one on the top. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add one to the bottom. Right here, and that's all I'm gonna use for this particular foliage. Like that. How cute is that? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add one more back here so it's more even. And if you use a pick machine, be really careful because those steel picks are really sharp and you can really hurt yourself. The same with the glue, but that's with any hot glue really. All right, so far I like the way this is looking. It's very pointy. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bring my florals and I'll be right back with you. All right, everyone, so for my florals, I'm gonna go ahead and use 5 of these pinch peonies and 4 sunflowers. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start once again, as I told you before, just adding 1 flower at a time. I'm gonna dip it into my glue and I'm gonna go ahead in here. Then I'm gonna go and bring it down. Then I'm gonna do the same with this one right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip a little bit into my glue. Then I'm gonna open up this space right here and I'm gonna go right there. I want a set of 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut me 1 more. I'm gonna cut the longest one, which is this one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it. And then I'm gonna go right here, I'm gonna create a triangle. You guys know that I always like to add this infamous triangle right here. So that's what that's gonna look on that side. Then I'm gonna grab some of these peonies and I'm gonna start up here on the top with some of the tall ones. And so basically I'm gonna add some of this glue. I'm gonna start up here like that. And then I'm gonna pick another one. You know, some people say that if you use this foam, this particular foam, you don't need to glue, but I just like to do it because it really is more, it'll stay more secure. So I'm gonna dip right here. I'm gonna insert right here and I'm gonna do this triangle of 3. Make sure that it really goes into that foam. Wow, that's really cute. I love it. All right, so then I have these 2 bats right here. So what I wanna do is first of all, take the tag off. And then what I'm going to do is I wanna kinda pick them like that. So one of them is taller than the other one. So I have to cut the excess from that one. And that is another benefit of picking your own flowers because then you can create, instead of having 1 flower, I'll show you right here, you have this pick with 2 flowers and always give them a little bent so they look more natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this guy up here like that. Then I'm gonna turn it a little bit and then I'm gonna go ahead and add my last sunflower. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna cut all of the excess and I want you to see that this one has all these foliages. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip it into a little glue, the whole stem. We don't wanna waste any of these foliages. Then you open your foam like that and then you insert all that like that. How cute is that? All right, so I have some of these picks and what I like about this because they have the gourds and the foliages already on them. So basically just have to fluff them up. I'm gonna go ahead and dip this into my glue right here and I'm gonna add one right here, right by the flowers. And that, as you can see right here, just add some pumpkin to it. Then I'm gonna do the exact same with this guy right here. This one has a gourd and a pine cone. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up some of this foliage right here and then just go ahead and insert that and then pull it down like so. And I'm gonna do one more over here. So basically just fold it in half like that. Make sure your foliage doesn't go in the glue. Then I'm gonna go ahead right here with the sunflowers and then I'm gonna go ahead and put it right there. So that way it gives it a little bit of a pumpkin feel to it and it just a little bit of character. All right, everyone, so the last step, we're gonna add some of these eucalyptus that I absolutely love, and that's what's gonna make it look tall and very lavish. So basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and poke it in here like that, and then we're gonna give it a little fluff. And this is very reminiscent of our door hanger that we did on the bucket and then turned into arrangement. If you guys have not seen that bouquet, I'm gonna link it up right now so you can check it out. It is all very cohesive, and I also love the way this is looking. how gorgeous did that pumpkin turned out. I love creating beautiful statement pieces like this, so my guests are wowed when they walk into my home. I really hope you like it. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. But now I'm gonna show you how to create a very inexpensive but very stated wreath for your front door. Keep watching. Okay everyone, so step number one is going to be to decide how we're going to hang this wreath on the door. We can do it in a square or we can do it in a triangle. And I feel like we've already done the square, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and use it as a triangle. All right, so once we've decided that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna free some of my dollar store ribbon. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it on the floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the very top right here. I'm gonna bend in the very corner. And then I'm gonna grab my glue gun and I'm gonna just do a little dab of glue right on the top. Now be careful not to burn yourself because this burlap ribbon is very porous and you can definitely feel that glue when you glue it onto your form. So once you have that right here in the top, what you need to do is you are gonna start the long process and tedious process of covering your frame as tight as possible. And for this particular process, you're going to probably need, I want to say 2 to 3 of these burlap ribbons. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take this little guy off because it's bothering me. And now I'm wrestling with it. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and cover it. Now, I want to recommend that if you enjoy wreath making for all of the seasons, I'm going to put a playlist right here with all of the full wreaths that we've done in the past. I've done some really pretty full wreaths like the one with the cornucopia. I don't know if you guys haven't seen the wreath with the cornucopia. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was done with mainly dollar store flowers and it was just so bountiful and so pretty. And I really hope that if you haven't seen it, you go and check it out, give it a chance and try to recreate it because that's what they're there for. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Right here, I'm gonna cover the perimeter of this wreath and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so now that you've gotten to the point where you ran out of your ribbon, what you need to do is just grab your hot glue gun, put 2 little dabs of glue, and now I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a secret. You wanna use the least amount of glue that you can for this particular wreath because you're really not actually wasting your ribbon, so you can actually recycle it for next projects coming up for the holiday season or even other fall projects. If you get tired of your wreath, then just go ahead and put this one apart and make another one, and just make sure, like I said, not to put a whole bunch of glue on your wreath. That way when you take it apart, well, it's super easy. And as you guys can see, it's only gonna take 2 of the bolts of ribbon from the dollar store. I'm gonna continue wrapping this and I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Okay, so we have finished covering the perimeter of our square wreath that we're gonna use as a diamond shape. So I'm gonna hang it right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this gray foam, and it's worth noting that it's the kind that is gray and it is specially made for florals. I like to recycle it, so I already went ahead and cut a little piece of it with my florist knife. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add a little dab of glue right here in the middle. Just be generous because we really want it to stick to our foam, to our ribbon right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my foam, do like a diamond shape like this, and I'm gonna hold it for a few seconds so it really hangs on to my ribbon right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of these pieces of ribbon, the accent ribbon that I'm going to use, and I'm gonna go ahead and tie it right here with this because we're gonna use it to tie the ribbon with, and also it's gonna help stick the foam into the glue right here. So I'm gonna just give it a little knot like that, and then I'm gonna forget it just to hold that in place. All right, so now the next step is going to be to make a little bow. And I already have a tail right here that I pre-cut that I'm gonna just let hang out. And it's probably about 24 inches. So I'm gonna put it to the side. And then I'm gonna start a little bow right here. I want it to be on the smaller side because I'm gonna add some elements that I don't want the bow to really overpower. So make sure you spin around and just play with your ribbon as you go to make it look very floppy. Now, I know you guys enjoy making bows, and some of us are so bow challenged, myself included. But here's the thing, it does not have to be perfect to be beautiful. So as long as you love it, that's what decorating is all about, you guys. If you love it, then it's perfect, because if you let other people determine what your decor is, then it's their decor and not yours. So you should really enjoy your decorating, your projects and DIYs, without really caring what other people think about them, because if it makes you happy, that's all that matters. All right, so I'm gonna cut right here. I will dovetail in a second. Then I'm going to introduce my tails that are gonna go down like that. And as you guys can see, now we have some longer tails. And I'm going to use just a little wire to secure all of this together so I can fluff, because we're going to use the ribbon to tie it together. So just make sure you do a little swirl real tight, and that way you can play with your ribbon and fluff it. Now let me make sure that I dovetail this before. You know, I'm always telling you that if I come to your home and your ribbons are not dovetail, I'm going to do it for you with your own scissors. Well, it's happened to me before when people come to my home and are like, oh, your ribbons are not dovetailed. All right, so now that that's at that stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this ribbon that we tied the foam with, and I'm going to go ahead and give it another knot right here, really tight like this. And as you guys can see, now we have all of these tails. They are up. How cute is this? I absolutely love it. And what that's gonna do is gonna hide our foam from our wreath. So I'm gonna get my florals ready, and I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, so I have these cute little foliages that I found at my local 99-cent store, and I just love the color. I think it goes really well with this ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just separate them, and I'm gonna cut a few of them. I only need like 3 of these cute little picks. Actually, I'm gonna do 4. I'm gonna set the rest apart because you know I like to store my foliages. And then I have some of these eucalyptus that I'm also going to cut, and I have 3. I'm gonna get rid of that stem. And I have some of these longer pick right here, and I'm also going to go ahead and cut. So I'm gonna give it a cut right here, and this is where our foam comes really handy. Look at that. How awesome is that? So I'm gonna do another one on the other side. Let's see. What I like about this is it has a wire, so really you can make it floppy, you can make it dense, you can just give it a little bend like that. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and add right here. How fun is that? It just goes forward, and then I'm gonna do one over to this side. And having that foam right there, it really helps you place the foliage anywhere you want without having to compromise your placement of your foliage. So now I'm gonna use some of this eucalyptus to continue going down. At this point, if you wanted to glue it, you could. I'm not going to, because you guys know I like to recycle all of these materials like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna fill in with some of this foliage right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go around the perimeter of my bow, making sure that I fluff all of this pretty foliage. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. You guys have heard me say that many times. And look at this. How awesome is that? All right, so I'm gonna add one coming down from in the middle. Just make sure you find that foam. Look, it gives you all of that space to add items to your wreath. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this pumpkin right here, and I want it to be right here in the middle. So I'm gonna split my bow. I'm gonna open my bow and find that foam. Just insert my pumpkin right there. Look at that. We'll fluff at the end. Then I have 2 sunflowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one here on the top, like that, and then I'm gonna add yet another one over here, behind the bow. And this is how simple it is to really make a gorgeous wreath. So now what I need to do is just go ahead and fluff all of my tails, bring my dovetails forward, make sure they show. Easy, right? I'm telling you, if I can do it, so can you. All you have to do is give it a try yourself. Right now, I'm gonna continue to share my fall DIYs and decorating ideas with a beautiful Christmas tree decorated for fall. Yes, Christmas trees are not just for Christmas. We can also dress them up with fall foliages, and I'm gonna share with you step by step how I do that. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so to decorate this beautiful Christmas tree with a fall theme, what we're going to need is a variety of ribbons that I have selected from Shinoda Design Center. I've also selected a few stems that are very, well, unique to fall, like this one that has some pumpkins. I'm gonna be using some ornaments in the fall colors, as well as a variety of other stems that I will show you as I go. And then I have about a half a dozen sunflowers that are rather large for the Christmas tree. So the very first thing I did is I went ahead and fluffed my tree, and I added this beautiful owl that I have used on the lantern. If you guys have not seen the lantern that I just decorated, I'm gonna link it down below, and then also I'm gonna put an eye right here on the eye card so you guys can see how cohesive this theme is going to be. So I basically just put a wire around his belly and I tied it on the back, and so he's not going anywhere. And I fluffed my tree, and every single tip has to be touched to give it this full, really lush feel to it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I have my ribbon right here, so I'm gonna drop it onto the floor. And remember to always have all of your tools right here at the hand. And I have my scissors, and then also a variety of wires. You guys know I use a lot of wire when it comes down to decorating my Christmas trees. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and dovetail my ribbon, and I'm going to pinch right here, and I'm gonna do a 2-loop bow. So I'm gonna do like that, and then I'm gonna twist, and then I'm gonna do yet another loop. And I am in love with this ribbon. It is such a good quality, and I love how wide it is. So I'm gonna do a 3-loop because this is gonna be on the top. The more up right here, the more loops you want to do because you want it to look like a bow at the end of it. All right, so I'm gonna grab one of my wires, and I'm going to tie all of this together by giving it a little twist on the back. And then what I'm going to do is grabbing these wires right here, I'm going to grab and go really in right here, and then I'm gonna twist into one of the greenery branches. And this ribbon is beautiful on both sides. It has a glitter side, which is this one right here, but then also has this really pretty pumpkin color lame on this back, on this color right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna cut about probably another yard down here. And the reason I wanna do that is just let it hang because I wanna go ahead and do another bow over on this side. So I'm going to repeat. I'm gonna dovetail. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this fall season. Can you guys believe this is almost the end of the fall season? But that means we're about to get started with our holiday season, and I cannot wait for you guys to see all of the ideas that we have for you to inspire you. This holiday season is going to be so much fun, so many themes, so many projects, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. All right, so I'm gonna do a 3-loop once again. Look how pretty this is. I also love this ribbon. Then I'm gonna grab one of my wires. Then I'm going to wire all of this together, and I'm going to twist. Then I'm gonna pick another side right here, and I'm gonna go all the way in. Remember to go all the way in right here, grabbing your wire. Find one of those bristles, they're very sturdy. So I want this one right here, and then you just give it a twist to the right, like that, and then you can fluff your ribbon. So I'm gonna stop right here. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this pumpkin ribbon, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop it on the floor. And with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do another 3-loop bow. Remember, the higher you go right here, the more loops you have to do. So at the end of it, looks like there is a bow, like a beautiful bow, but there really isn't. It's just all of the loops that you've been doing with your ribbons. And you can find this wire, like this is a 20 gauge wire. I found mine at Shinoda Design Center. They sell it on this box, and it is just good to have all these wires ready. All right, so then you twist one right there to the top, and look at that. See how it's starting to look like there's a big bow right here? All right, so I'm gonna start with this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give it a big loop, and then I'm gonna use right here the bristle just to attach it. And then I'm gonna do yet another one. And I'm gonna start moving right here to one side. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attach right here. And see how the loops are big? You want those loops to be big because we're gonna put other ornaments and other stems and we don't want them to get lost. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do yet another one, and I'm gonna move this one right here, and I'm gonna go all the way down here, and just using the bristles, we're gonna attach. And this one right here, I'm gonna leave it as a tail, but I'm going to dovetail it so it looks finished. Remember my rule, if I come to your house and your ribbons are not dovetailed, most likely I'm gonna ask you for a pair of scissors to do it. And I have done that before in the past. All right, so what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna go all the way in, and then I'm gonna cross two of my bristles. And look how beautiful this ribbon is. The wider the ribbon, the more it shows, and it just looks like a designer did it. All right, so I'm gonna do yet another loop right here. I'm gonna fold in. And look how I'm going all the way inside and just crossing some bristles because I want it to look really, really girthy and beautiful. So I'm gonna stop right there, fluffing my ribbon. I'm gonna go to the other side, and I am going to do the exact same thing. Look how I'm pulling my ribbon out, and that kind of determines how big of a loop I'm going to have. Look at that. Then I'm gonna do yet another one, and I'm gonna pull out, but I'm gonna go as far in as I can on the branch so it really ties in. And then I'm going to do yet another one right here. So I'm gonna cut my ribbon right here, and I'm gonna show you something real quick. So let me just dovetail. You guys have called me out when I don't dovetail. You know, I tell you to dovetail all the time and then I don't do it, so I understand. All right, so I'm gonna dovetail right here. Ooh, that is an ugly dovetail. Don't do ugly dovetails. I just rather you go back and take your time and properly do it, like that. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna two loop bow, just a two, and then I'm gonna grab one of my wires and fold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here where I did a loop right here, and then I'm gonna go all the way in, and I'm gonna tie into one of my bristles right here. And then I'm gonna fluff. And so it looks like it's coming out of this one, and then I'm gonna go this way right here. But actually I'm gonna switch the color. So I wanna use this coppery color. I'm gonna go right here, just twist. And then I'm gonna cut a tail right here. How pretty is this ribbon, you guys? I'm telling you, Shunetta does have the best selection of ribbons. And to make a lavish Christmas tree, you do kind of have to have a really good selection of ribbons. So that's why I'm always saying just invest in your ribbons. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a two loop of this pumpkin like this. I'm gonna grab a little wire, and this is why it's so important to have all of your tools at the ready right here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right here where this loop ended. I'm gonna attach it with a wire, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cross them, and then I'm gonna do a loop right here, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. But look how intertwining all of the bows really makes it look absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna do one more time over here, just so I have all the same ribbons all the way around. And for this one, you can do either a one loop or a two loop. I like doing a two loop just because it looks fuller. So grab a wire, twist, and then go right here where the ribbon swooped, and then grab, do one to the left, fluff your ribbon, and then you can do another loop right here, just like this. All right, so now I'm going to fluff all of these ribbons, and I'll be right back with you guys to give you the next step. Okay, for this next step, what I'm selected is a variety of foliages, and then also this really pretty conehead hydrangea that looks like it's dried. And I'm gonna start with the foliages, so I'm gonna move my scissors over here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and give them a little curvature. I'm gonna use 3 of this particular one, and when you're using selected numbers, you kind of have to do a ladder motion. So I'm gonna start with the bottom right here, because I wanna give my tree some dimension. So I'm gonna do 3, and I'm gonna add one right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a second type of foliage, and I'm gonna start adding them like here. I just want them to look like they're coming out of the tree. I'm gonna add one right here. That's two. I'm gonna move over to this side. Sorry if I disappear, like this. And at this point, you can attach them with the bristles. And I'm gonna add yet another one over here. It is kind of hard being so close to it because you do have to step away from it and make sure that you are seeing where your stems are going. But I think that's just plenty of this particular foliage. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add these pumpkin stems that I've found at Shinoda Design Center. And I'm gonna start right here on the bottom, and I wanna let them hang out. And if you wanna secure them, just go ahead and grab some of those bristles and just pull through the stem, and that will secure it where it needs to go. Aren't these just absolutely fabulous? Look at all these beautiful pumpkins that match with the ribbon. I just think they're so cute. So I'm gonna add one right here, almost to the top. And I wanna make sure that this one stays here. So I'm gonna grab one of my bristles. I'm gonna twist it right here. So it looks like it's just flowing out of the Christmas tree. And I'm using sets of 4 of each stem just to make it look fuller. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one step down. So I have 2 on this side, and I'm gonna move over to this side. I'm gonna add this one over on this side right here. How fun is that? It is giving a lot of girth, and it's giving a lot of depth and dimension to my tree. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add this really pretty cone head hydrangea, and I'm gonna start right here, going directly down into the tree, and I'm gonna add one right here with my owl topper. I'm gonna come over here. Sorry if I'm covering the tree, but I will move in a minute. I just have to make sure that I'm giving the whole tree the same materials. Now this hydrangea, you wanna make sure that it goes all the way to the base of the tree, like this. Look how pretty. And look how it started right here, and I'm doing a circle this way. So I'm gonna add this one right here, going all the way in to the tree. Let me see, like that. You want them to poke out because that way they look like they are growing out of the tree. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna do one right here over on this side. How fun is this, you guys? I'm having so much fun sharing all of these ideas with y'all, with all of this fall decorating and DIYs. I'm gonna add one right over on this side, like that. Great. So now what I have is these beautiful ornaments in all of the fall colors, and I am obsessed with them. I also use this on the lantern. I use them on a swag, and all of those videos are going to be linked down below. But what I want to do with this is I'm gonna go ahead and go in, just give them a twist with my wire. They're all pre-wired. And what I like to do is just, if I'm gonna use a flat one right here, then I'm gonna go ahead and use a glitter, like that, and just give them one twist to the left. I'm gonna add this one right here. What I like about this wire is because you can, I'll show you, if you add your ornament, that's too close to it. Let me move to the side. If you add your ornament right here, all you have to do is give this wire one twist to the right. Oh, and of course it fell off. You know what, if this happens to you, I really recommend to grab a hot glue gun and glue these caps right here, because that way you can really pull on it. But what I wanna show you is that you can just give them one twist to the right, hide that wire, and it's going to stay exactly where you want it. And so, let me see, where do I want one? Right here over on this side. I'll show you this one. One twist to the right, and when you wanna take them off, you do one twist to the left, and your ornament come right off. And that way you can save it like this, and next year when you're putting your fall Christmas tree out, you can just do that, and look at that. How fast and how easy. All right, so I'm gonna add one right here to the top, like this. And I have 2 left. Let me see, where do I want? I'm making sure that I fluff all of these beautiful ribbons. I'm gonna add one right here. And let's see, what else do I want? I am going to add over to this side. Now, right here. Perfect. All right, so now the other thing that I have to add is gonna be some of these beautiful larger sunflowers. I'm gonna put them right here on my bowl so that I can grab from them. So I have this selection of sunflowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add spots. Where I have bigger spots where there is no items, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a sunflower and just stick it in there, and then start covering some of those areas like this. Let me go on this. I have added some larger picks so that I can add easily to my tree. Let me see, where else? Over on this side. So basically your sunflowers are like another ornament that you're using, another type of ornament. So I'm gonna add one right here. Let me see, I'm gonna add one in here, inside. And then I'm gonna add one right here, right in the middle. And what you wanna do is you wanna grab your ribbons and fluff them like you would your Christmas tree ribbons. Make sure that they show, and you can really see those loops coming down every single bow. All right, I'm gonna grab one last surprise element and I'll be right back. Okay, so the last thing I wanna add is some of these cute little owl ornaments. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna grab a little piece of somewhere where I can attach this guy. So there's like a little berry right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach him right there. Then I'm gonna grab another one. So I want them to really be out. So I'm gonna grab these right here and I'm gonna put it through, making sure that they show. Look how fun is that? And I have two more that I'm going to add. So just with a little cord that it comes in, I'm gonna look for a prominent spot. Like, let's see, somewhere over here. So I'm gonna put it right here. Then you can just fold that up. And there is one last one that I'm going to add on this side over here. And how fun is this? Okay, so now I'm gonna give it a fluff and I'll show you the end result, so keep watching. I mean, can you even, how beautifully that Christmas tree turned out? I'm telling you, they really make a statement this fall season. Right now, I'm gonna share with you how to create a beautiful lantern to match this beautiful fall Christmas tree. This lantern is also decorated with a whole bunch of fall foliages and fall flowers and a special character. Let's watch. Okay everyone, to decorate this beautiful lantern for fall or Thanksgiving, what we're going to need is obviously a beautiful lantern. Now a lot of people have asked me how big this lantern is, so don't mind me while I cross right here on the table so that I can get a tape measure. And I'm gonna tell you guys right away how tall this lantern is. It is a big one and it would be so beautiful outside on an urn. So it is about 35 inches tall and it is about 12 inches square. So 35 by 1 foot, for those who were wondering. Also, what we're going to need is this Christmas greenery. And you guys know that I love to use the garlands for not only Christmas, but also for fall. I'm gonna use a variety of foliages. I'm gonna use these two ribbons and I'm gonna use burlap and this beautiful pumpkin with glitter in it. Now, these are recycled ribbons that I got. This is from Shinoda, the pumpkin one, and this is from Walmart. Then also I'm gonna use a variety of Christmas ornaments in the full colors, like this brass and then this really pretty glittered, I think it's more like a pumpkin color, so pretty. And then also we're gonna use some sunflowers and pumpkins. All right, let's get started. We're gonna make this really quick in real time for you guys to see how easy it really is to decorate a beautiful lantern for fall. And the very first thing you need to do is you're going to fluff all of your greenery after you place it onto the top of your lantern right here. And you want it to be about equally draping on each side. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring this ribbon, I'm gonna just drop it on the floor and I'm going to start right here. And I wanna leave a tail going down and I'm gonna start doing some loops, or yeah, I wanna call them loops. They are probably about 5 inches right here. And then I'm gonna, with the same bristles from the garland, I'm going to attach. Then I'm gonna kind of calculate about the same length as you guys can see. I'm gonna adhere to my lantern, and this is on a Lazy Susan. The Lazy Susan, you guys always see me use when I make centerpieces and other floral arrangements, because I really like to be able to spin the project that I'm working with. And you see how right here is really tight? Well, I'm going to go ahead and just pull up, and I'm gonna bring my scissors and I'm going to dovetail this guy right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same on the back. However, I don't have enough of the ribbon right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this one. And because it is going to be sitting flat against the wall, then I don't wanna be as precise on the back, but you do want to put some ribbon on the back in case that your table is lower, then your eye is going to be able to see over it, and you want to make sure that you see all of this beautiful ribbon all throughout your lantern so it looks finished on all sides. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this fall series. We've done so many cool projects this fall series, and we're just getting started. However, also we are gearing up for the holiday season, and let me just tell you, this Christmas season you will not want to miss Ramon at Home videos, because we're going big at Ramon at Home. We're doing all of these beautiful, fabulous projects, and they're all going to be just absolutely gorgeous, like nothing I've ever done before here on the channel, and I cannot wait for you guys to see. All right, so I'm gonna cut right here some dovetails. I'm gonna go ahead and dovetail this guy while I'm at it, because if I come to your house and if you don't have your ribbons dovetailed, trust me, I will ask you for scissors so that I'm able to dovetail them for you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this burlap ribbon, and I'm gonna start right here. So I'm going to pinch and just leaving a little tail. You want to make sure that you leave a little tail just so it has enough of the ribbon hanging down. Then what you want to do is you want to pinch, and I want this ribbon to be in the middle of the two rows of pumpkin ribbon, and this is just for texture. I'm gonna go over the lantern and I'm gonna attach right here. I want it to look really full and plentiful, because I feel like that's what fall is about. It's about bountiness and plentiness and full beautiful displays of beautiful fall items like pumpkins and gourds. And all right, so I'm gonna leave right here, and I'm gonna dovetail one more tail, and making sure that I have all of my ribbons. All right, so I'm gonna just use this little piece right here, and I'm gonna put it right in the back. I'm gonna pinch right in the middle, and I'm gonna attach right here. And I'm just gonna do one loop to each side. I just love reading your guys' comments. You guys have left me some really awesome comments that you've learned so many tricks here at Ramon at Home. So be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know which was the first video that you saw here at Ramon at Home. I'm really interested to know how were you introduced to this channel. I would love to read your comments. So just leave me a comment below and let me know what was the first video you watched here at Ramon at Home. All right, so far this is what it looks like. We have all of our ribbons, and you know that we always go back at the end and we fluff the ribbons because we continue to work with items and they're gonna get flattened out. But here's a tip: you want to give some give to your ribbon so that way it gets smooshed with other things. You are able to go in there and fluff and make it look how it's supposed to. All right, so now I have these beautiful foliages, and I have these two stems. These two stems came from Hobby Lobby, and this magnolia right here came from Pier 1 when they were still in business. But you can use any foliage that you may have already, or if you want to go out and buy. But here's a tip: I like to use a bigger foliage like this big leaf, and I like to mix it with a smaller foliage just to give the project more texture. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to introduce, and just using some of those bristles, I am going to attach, and that'll stay right here. Now remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, so I'm going to bring yet another one of these foliages all the way over to this side. And what this step does, what happens on the right happens on the left, it just helps you balance your arrangement. As you guys can see, there's some of the same items on both sides, and that is gonna keep the balance on your bouquet or your arrangement. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a curvature like this. I'm gonna insert right here in the middle, and then I'm going to attach with my bristles. Just give it a spin like that. Then I'm gonna go over to the other side, and about the same place where I did the other, I'm gonna attach right here some of these foliages like that. So now you have all that foliage all the way around. So now I have some of this, but this comes in a longer form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut some smaller forms, And I'm always telling you guys, don't be afraid to cut your greeneries or your foliages because you already paid for it. You know, what's the point of having all of these foliages and then at the end of the season you just store them when you can go ahead and use some of these foliages shorter and they just look better on your projects when you cut them the right length. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here. Then I'm going to spin around and I'm gonna add another one. This one is too long, first of all, so I'm gonna cut right here. So now I have two shorter ones, as you can see. So I'm gonna add one right here in the front, just attach with the bristles, and I'm gonna go one step further up right here. And as you can see, it's gonna continue that foliage all the way throughout. And by attaching this with the bristles of the greenery garland, you can put this outside and there is no gust of wind that's going to be able to take apart your project because it's really well attached with those bristles. And let me just say, they just stay there. All right, so I have a few left. I'm gonna go ahead and put these on the back. So there's some of it on the back just hanging out. Once again, in case that your eye travels back there, as you guys can see, just by adding that little touch, it really looks finished all throughout. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my ornaments and I'm gonna start placing them on my garland. And I already went ahead and pre-wire them. You guys know that I like to pre-wire with a 22 gauge wire. I just cut them in half and I like to give myself a long tail. That way I have some wire to attach. And as you guys can see, I'm just gonna go ahead and circle once to the right and I'm just gonna place the ornament there. I'm gonna bring one right here and I like to alternate. I use one of the shiny ones over on this side. So I'm gonna use one of these right here. And as you guys can see, just by giving it one twist to the right and it'll stay right where you need it. So now I'm gonna alternate to this guy right here. I'm gonna add one right here hanging down and just one twist to the right. And the reason why I want you to do just one twist to the right is because then taking them apart or taking them down from your tree, you know that all of the ornaments went just one twist to the right. All you have to do is one twist to the left and your ornament will come right off. And because it's attaching to a garland or to a bristle on a Christmas tree, then it is super easy. As you guys can see, look, one twist to the right. I'll leave it there. I hide this wire because it's long. So when I go in and take it out, all I have to do is one twist to the left and my ornament comes right out. And that way I don't struggle to take my pieces apart. So now I'm gonna bring one to the back. I'm gonna add this one right here on the back. One, hi. Well, the other tip is, if you have these ornaments, I recommend you glue the little cap so that way you can be well, a little bit more aggressive like I am right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one up here in a second, but first I'm going to finish. Let's see, let's spin it around. I feel like I need one right here on the top. So I'm going to add this one right here and just attach, place it in place. Let's see. And I'm gonna end with one down here, hanging down with the ribbons. And I'm gonna add and make sure that it hangs down like this. One twist to the right, making sure that I got that. All right, so I'm gonna rescue that ornament. I'm gonna glue it together and I'll be right back, stay tuned. Okay, now I'm back and I'm going to go ahead and add some of these sunflowers that I went ahead and cut short, because once again, just by adding this sunflower and just giving it a twist with one of the bristles of the garland is going to stay in place. So there's no need really for gluing, because that's really going to lock it and secure it right here. So I'm gonna add one right here on the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this one, just making sure that I go through my garland and then attach with the bristle. Now, if you wanted to feel more secure about it, and if you want to glue it, go ahead and glue it. I'm not saying don't, but I just don't really think that if you need to, if you are really using the bristles on your garland to secure it where it needs to go. As you guys can see, just one twist on the head of the flower, it'll withstand the wind. So far, so good. I'm gonna go ahead and add just one here on the back because we want it to be finished all the way around. And so now I'm gonna add some of these pumpkins that I have. These came from Hobby Lobby and they are 40% off right now. So go and stock up. So I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and go up like this. And I'm gonna grab this bristle and then just twist it on the stem and push that pumpkin right there. Look how that just stays right there. So I'm gonna add another one right here. So I'm gonna go up on this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this bristle, give it a twist. And like I said, we're gonna go ahead and fluff all of these ribbons towards the end. So there's two, and I feel like we might need one right here. This one I'm gonna go ahead and point up like this. Make sure that I have a bristle to attach to, and here is one. Just go ahead and twist that up, and as you guys can see, it all stay right there in place. And I have my last ornament that I broke earlier, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a place that's becoming full. So I'm going to look for a place. I'm going to attach it right here. Just remember, one twist to the right and hide your wire. And so now what we need to do is we need to fluff all of our ribbons, and I'll show you what that looks like, so stay tuned. Okay, so now that your lantern is all done up on the top, what we need to do is do something inside of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this little wooden razor. I'm gonna add it right here. And if you guys saw the shopping haul that I did from Shinoda Design Center, you know I am in love with this cute little owl that is made out of this really cool grass material with a beautiful pilgrim outfit. I just think he's absolutely adorable. So I'm gonna place him inside of my lantern. And then I have all of these leftover flowers from past projects, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cover the bottom, and actually I'm going to take him out first. It's a good idea to go ahead and cover the bottom with flowers and pumpkins and gourds, so that way it covers the stand and he looks like he is floating on some field of beautiful, full, bountiful flowers like this. Make sure that you want to give it a spin around to make sure all of it is covered. Once it's covered, go ahead and add some cute little pumpkins right here, maybe right here, just so there is some texture. And he looks like he's fell into a field of bountifulness. So I'm gonna put him right here on the top, and that's what it looks like. What do you guys think? Are you guys enjoying this fall DIYs so far? I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know which one has been your favorite. Right now, I'm gonna share with you how to create a gorgeous wreath for your front door for this fall season with a beautiful pumpkin that I cannot wait for you to see. Keep watching. Now I have my pick machine right here because this particular eucalyptus has a really thin stem. So what I like to do is I like to put a steel pick on it, and then I like to give it a curvature right here, and I'm going to start by dipping into my glue, and I'm gonna start right here on the bottom. And what I like about these eucalyptus is because it's very dainty, and see how I'm pushing it forward because I want it to really spill forward and create more of a three-dimensional feel, and the way you do that is just by giving it a little bit of a curvature to your foliage. If you don't have a steel pick machine, you can find one on Amazon.com. I'm gonna link one down below so you guys can order one if you are making your wreaths for sale, and if you're making them for your family members, that you might want to go ahead and invest in one of these little tools. It is a tool of the florist world, and well, we florists cannot live without them. So I say we florists, like I still work in the industry. I did work in the industry for over 10 years, so not longer practicing. Sometimes once in a while I do a wedding or I do like a party, but I don't really work as a florist anymore. But I did work as one for a long time. All right, remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. And we're gonna go ahead and add some eucalyptus just about the same place as we did the other one. Like that. And then also I want to bring some on the outside, so I'm going to do a few more so it has a little bit more of a girth. I'm going to add one over here on the side. I want it to be as thick on the sides as it is on the middle where the pumpkin is. So I'm gonna bring one right here and just go like that on the outside. And I'm gonna add one last one. This one I have two, and that's one benefit of having this pick machine, because you can pick two together and it creates a thicker stem. Then you can split it like this, and then you have a thicker stem. So you have to be really careful not to dip your foliage in the glue. All right, so I'm gonna add one right here, about the same height as the other one. And look at that, how fun is that? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of these limbs here that I got at Walmart, and one lucky winner will be taking some of these limbs here. And I'm so excited for you guys to get this and get crafting. Make sure that you don't burn yourself, because this really hurts if you do burn yourself. All right, so what happens on the left happens on the right, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and add yet another one right here. And then I'm gonna stagger down, but for this time, because they're gonna be closer, I wanna make sure that they are thicker, so I'm not gonna cut any of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and dip into the glue the way it is. I'm gonna lower my temperature a little bit. Then I'm gonna open up right here, and I'm gonna go as far in as I can, like that. And see how it's spilling forward? That's the way I like the wreaths, because it makes it look more natural when you have that spillage forward than actually just sitting flat on the wreath. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip this here, and I'm gonna push as far in. Look how fun this is. Now, as you guys can see, I really don't like this guy right here. I feel like it's spilling forward too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut that little part, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pick this stem right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and use it to fill in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy right here. Perfect. So you don't have to really waste it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these beautiful sunflowers, and I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna cut them short. There is no need for you to pick these ones because the stem is pretty thick. Just make sure that you cut them at an angle so they go into the grapevine. Now these ones I do want to go further in to the vine, so that way it looks more natural. I'm gonna do the same with this one right here. I'm gonna dip into my glue. And as you guys can see, you don't really need a lot of material to create something beautiful like this. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put that one right there. And I'm gonna repeat the same on the other side. Just gonna cut this one a little bit shorter. I'm gonna insert this. What happens on the left has to happen over here on the right. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put that sunflower right there. And then I'm gonna bring one, but I'm gonna bring it closer. So I'm going to make sure that I cut it even shorter. And then I'm gonna grab all of the petals. I'm gonna kind of bend it in half so I can get some of that glue, making sure that my petals don't go into the glue. And then I'm gonna open right here, and I'm gonna add this sunflower right here. How fun is that? That is so cute. All right, so then what I have some of these wispy materials, and you can find some of this at Hobby Lobby. I know they have it right now available. So what I want is I wanted to like create an airiness to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna dip into my glue, and I'm gonna start bringing some of this viney material, and look how that looks like a vine, kind of like a pumpkin grows on a vine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and add a few of them in random places to give it a three-dimensional look to it. So I'm gonna add another one right here. Look how fun that is. And then I'm going to bring one over here. And this is what I like about making wreaths, because every wreath can be different. You know, there's no two wreaths that look the same. And that's the way I like my wreaths, because they are one of a kind. You know, I worked in an industry where everything that we did, every arrangement, every wreath was just one of a kind. I'm gonna put these ones facing down. So I'm gonna grab this one right here, and I'm gonna stick it right here, facing down. And I'm gonna add the same, I'm gonna give it a little bit of curvature. I'm gonna add some glue to it. And then I'm going to go on this side, and I'm gonna put it facing down so it spills down. All right, so then what I have is some of these really pretty eucalyptus. And what I'm going to do with these ones, I am going to pick this guy right here. And this is kind of gonna be our flyaways. And I'm gonna make sure that I add it right here. And I want that cedar eucalyptus to show just a little bit of it. Then I'm gonna add yet another one over on this side. The more variety of foliages that you have, the better. And see how that little touch of eucalyptus just makes the difference. I'm gonna put a pick on this one. All right, so I'm going to add yet another one over here with a vine. So it's kind of encasing our pumpkin. So now what I have is some of these pumpkins from Hobby Lobby, and I want to add just a few. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a curvature like this, and I'm going to go ahead and add this guy right here and make sure that it goes all the way through the vine, just right here to support my pumpkin, making sure that I fluff my bow as I go so I don't lose it. And then I have this other one right here that I'm going to insert over on that side, just giving it a curvature like this. I'm going to go ahead and insert this guy right here. Let's see. You have to go with the grain of the wreath. And just like that, you have a beautiful wreath, but I do have to dovetail this guy. You know what? I recommend you dovetail at the end because that way you don't mess with your ribbon. Look how beautiful that is. All right, everyone, so I just want to show you how beautiful the wreath looks on the front door. And as you can see, the galvanized pumpkin really does add a little touch of modern to this rather rustic wreath. And I love the little touch of the ribbon with the burlap, and then also the black and white check, and all of the little pumpkins and gourds and the white sunflowers really make for a modern looking wreath. What do you think? If you don't have a big door, or if you are in a budget, I want to share with you an alternative for the same wreath. How about the full wreath DIY for your door? Wasn't that absolutely gorgeous? However, if you are on a budget like I am, or if you have a smaller door, I'm gonna give you a super quick, almost free way to decorate your door, and that's going to be done with all leftover items that you can find at Walmart. So this wreath form is from the dollar store. I'm gonna use 2 sunflowers that are leftover from past projects, 2 stems of lamb's ear from past projects. I have some scrap ribbon, and then 2 of these little pigs from Walmart as well. You can find this right now. And I'm going to use to attach some zip ties. This is going to be super simple, I promise. So I'm gonna add the wreath right there so you can see what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to grab 2 of these lamb's ear to kind of measure it about this much. And then I'm going to lap them over like this, and I'm gonna give them a little curve. You wanna make sure that it's curved out like that. Once you have this ready, what you need to do is you're going to introduce your little pigs with a pumpkin, and you want to make sure that they also overlap like this. And at this point you want to use one of these zip ties. We're going to use a few because you want to make sure that you don't lose the shape, and that is going to be attached to the back of your wreath form. Super simple, super easy, and the best thing, it is so affordable. Anyone can do it. All right, so grab your cutters. So that's going to be sitting like that. Remember, we're going to fluff at the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce a sunflower, but because I want it to be more on the outer edge, I'm going to grab another zip tie, or you can also use wire. If you have wire somewhere around the house, because it is faster for me for the video purpose, I'm just going to go ahead and do zip ties. It is just more convenient. So I'm going to add 1 sunflower right there. Then I'm going to grab yet another 1 sunflower. I'm going to add this one over here. And look how that's getting that shape for the wreath. And I'm going to attach this one right here to some of those branches. If you are enjoying this fall series, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And then also share with a friend. Let them know what we're doing here, Ramon at Home, trying to inspire you to create something beautiful for your home this fall season. All right, I'm gonna cut that right there. I'm gonna put that to the side. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of this leftover ribbon and I'm gonna see which one is the longest. Oh, they're about the same. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy and I'm gonna put it right here on the top and I'm gonna do a knot, making sure that it's even. So I'm gonna put it back here. And now I'm just gonna leave it there for now. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this guy right here and I'm gonna give it just a little tail because I wanna make a bow real quick. Nothing too big or special. Remember, this is on a budget so that everybody can do it. So I'm gonna do 3. I'm going to do maybe 4. Yeah, that's 4. That's perfect. Make sure you fluff them out like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this guy right here with yet another zip tie. So you basically just need 4 zip ties if you have them, or some paddle wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie all of this together like that, and I'm gonna cut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this ribbon, then I'm gonna do another knot right here on the top. You can double knot it if you like. And that's gonna give us 2 really long tails. Make sure you fluff your bow. And what I'm gonna do, because I have longer tails, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it over to this side. And I'm gonna do a cute little knot on this one right here. Make sure you fluff. And then on this one, I'm gonna do it over on this side. And just like that, you have a cute little wreath for your door. If you have a storm door, if you are on a budget, I'm gonna give this a little fluff real quick and I'll show you what it looks like. As you guys can see, this fall season, I like to decorate with other colors that are not your traditional colors like the black and white. Now I'm gonna share with you how I decorate a cute little blue truck with a whole bunch of fall foliages and flowers and a gorgeous black and white ribbon, and I really think you're gonna like it. Keep watching. Okay everyone, so the very first thing we need to do is get our mechanics ready, and for that I have a block of gray foam, and remember this is florist foam that is designed for silk flowers. But what I have done already is I cut about I want to say a 1/5 of the foam with my trusty florist knife, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this guy right here. I'm going to put some glue and just make sure that you are very generous because you don't want your bouquet to come crashing down on you while you have people over. So I'm going to put a lot of glue in it. I'm going to glue that down into my truck bed. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. And the way you want to do that is you want to put some glue right here in the middle. Oh my goodness, I just ran out of glue, but thankfully I have some here on my drawer, and I hope it's the size. Yes, it is. All right, so make sure that you're generous. I'm gonna put that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put that in the middle right here. But then what I want you to do is I want you to get some of your steaks. These are skewers that you use to grill, and I usually have them here on my drawer. And what I want to do is I'm gonna grab a skewer, then I'm gonna go ahead and put that all the way down like this. Then I'm gonna grab another one right here, make sure that goes all the way down. And I'm going to grab my wire cutters and I'm going to cut all the way down. And that's going to secure my foam. I'm gonna do a third one. You might wanna do it also on an angle like this. And there is no way that foam is gonna go anywhere. It's secure together. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna cover some of the perimeter of this bed to cover the foam. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some moss down. Make sure that all of our mechanics, oh my gosh, what is the tag doing here? Let me go ahead and cut that. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these videos. I just wanted to put this collection together of full DIYs so you're inspired to create something in your home. Now keep in mind, this is just an inspiration. If you want to replicate it, well, go ahead and follow the steps. But I just really want to give you ideas on how you can create your very own DIYs this fall season for your home. It's going to be so much fun, and I cannot wait to come back with all of the ideas that I have for you guys. All right, let me spin it around, make sure that I covered all of my moss. You can grab your knife and just push that moss. You want to make sure that you don't see that foam. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna leave it just like that. Okay, let me go ahead and get my flowers ready and I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I wanna add is going to be the greenery, and I'm gonna start with this eucalyptus. You wanna start right here on the truck, on the bed of the truck, and remember what happens on the left happens on the right, so that's why you always want to go ahead and then do opposites to make sure that you have a balance on your arrangement. So I'm gonna add yet another one right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come directly over to this side and just make sure that you have some for the top, because you want to make sure that all of your perimeter is, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of this Lazy Susan just because I don't want that to be happening the whole time I'm working on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that right here. And then what I want to do is I'm gonna add some of this beautiful olive, and I wanna cut it a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna make sure that it goes there. What happens on the right happens on the left, like this. And I just want like a little tree of greenery to cover those mechanics. I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here. Then I'm gonna come opposite to this side, over on this side. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've learned something here at Ramon at Home. I wanna know what was your favorite trick that you ever learned from watching this channel. And if you are as excited as I am for the fall season, you guys, is here. And I just love this time of the year because it's the colors and the smells and just the textures. It's just so much fun. All right, so I have my truck bed all full with my greenery. And so basically we're just trying to cover the mechanics. So now I'm gonna get those flowers ready and I'll be right back. Okay, so the very first thing I wanna start with is going to be some of these beautiful sunflowers, because the truck has a sunflower detail right here. And I want it to be a little bit more on the farmhouse style, so I chose this cream sunflower instead of the orange sunflower. So I'm gonna add one right here facing to you guys, and I'm gonna add one right here facing to me. And then I'm going to add a third one, but I want it to be right here in the corner. And remember to always create that triangle that we're talking about on the floral design to have a balance on your truck. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this really pretty Daisy Mom, and I'm gonna use this as the flyaway, and look what this does right here. So it just extends the shape of your arrangement. So I'm gonna come over to this side. I'm gonna cut this one in two, because I wanna make sure that I have enough for my whole truck. Look how pretty that is. It's so dainty and dangly, and I'm gonna make sure that I bend down a little bit so it spills forward like this. Then I have one more that I'm going to cut to make two, and I'm always telling you, do not be afraid to cut your florals because you already paid for them. So might as well just make them do what you want them to do. All right, so just like that, I'm gonna cut this one short. And you would think that I would get rid of this piece of greenery, but since you already have it, might as well and go ahead and add it to the mix. And that just adds more texture to your bouquet, and it helps you cover the mechanics a little bit better. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of this pumpkin pick. So I'm gonna add two of them. I'm gonna give it a little bit like this, and I'm just going to add this one right here on the top to add a little bit of that berry and a little pumpkin. Then I'm gonna come over to this side, and I'm going to insert in the exact same spot like that. I'm gonna add one more detail to this arrangement, so stay tuned. Okay everyone, so I love the way this looks. However, I do feel like it needs a little bit more of a detail to look a little bit more fallish. So what I brought is some of these pumpkins, and notice that I chose the green kind. I got a pumpkin and a gourd. They have those same shades of ivory and sage, and so it is not the orange typical of fall. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one right here, making sure that it goes all the way down on my foam. And then I'm going to add one more up here, so it looks more plentiful and bountiful. And so that's gonna help it really give it that fall. See how it just added that full feel to it. All right, so then I'm gonna put this to the side because I wanna make a bow real quick. I wanna add some touch of modern to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a cute little bow, and I'm gonna grab my scissors and start by dovetailing this ribbon real quick, because it's easier to just do it fast enough. All right, so you wanna get probably about a 4-inch tail, and it's going to be just a little detail. So you wanna make sure that it's not overpowering the truck. So I'm gonna do probably like a 3-loop bow. but it has to be rather small, smaller than normal at least. You know, we like to do big bows here, Ramon, at home, but you want to make sure that it's not gonna overpower the truck, and it's just gonna add that little farmhouse feel to it. Oh, it's kind of like my shirt, I just noticed. All right, so I'm gonna cut right here. We'll dovetail in a second, but what you want to do is you want to grab your stake with a wire. I'm always telling you guys, if you don't have any of these stakes with a wire, you have to go out and shop for some. All right, so now I'm gonna do is dovetail this right here. We're gonna flip one tail up, one down. Let me see, where do I want to put this bow? I think I'm gonna put it on this side, on the corner. Just go ahead and put it on your phone, flip it in, and look how cute is this. Okay, everyone, so I just wanna give you a close-up of what the truck turned out to look like. And I just love the detail of the sunflower right here on the truck and how it really blends in with the sunflowers on the top. The gourds and the pumpkins really give it that full feel, and the color really does make it look farmhouse style. And I think the perfect detail, it's the black and white bow. It makes it look a little bit more modern. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think? So what was your favorite? I had so much fun sharing this compilation of fall DIYs with you guys to get started with our fall season for 2022. Right now, I want to invite you to leave me a comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite. I cannot wait to read all of your comments. Also, I want to take a second to thank our new subscribers for this week, which is Lucia Geese, Patricia Cook, and Richie J. You guys, thank you so much for becoming the new members. Yay. And if you want to become a member, follow the instructions and the link down below in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing. There's going to be a whole playlist somewhere right here for you to tune in and continue to be inspired for fall decorating and DIY ideas. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Until next time, bye.